What's going on? Can you hear me pretty good? How's the audio? Can you hear me? Cool. Let me position the camera here a little bit. So, have I found out how to fly the Mavic in an acro mode? I mean, besides if you go back and look at a couple of my videos where I tricked the Mavic by covering up the GPS with like the GoPro and the Tiny Whoop and everything like that, there really just isn't any way to make it, bank harder than it actually will. I think you can hack them now, and you can actually put them into ADDY mode using different kind of applications. But if something happens, DJI, I don't know if you can undo the hack or not, and DJI is going to see that if you try to turn it in to cover a repair. And most of the time, most Mavics are around a year old, maybe a little bit more if you got yours at the beginning. So, you still got some warranty on there. And I'm not sure, even if you have care refresh or not, if that would void care refresh or not. DJI is pretty funny, man. If you've watched, I think you've been on the channel for a while, so I had that issue with Lychee, and I couldn't provide them a log. I think Lychee at the time might have used Healthy Drones or whatever, and that log wasn't good enough for them. They wanted a log straight out of the actual Go4 app, so they wouldn't cover it. So you can do a lot of different things to try. Yeah, aluminum foil would work and everything else, but honestly, you're never going to get it to flip or do anything crazy like that at all. That's for sure. It's always going to maintain some kind of stability, even if you turn everything off and you put it in sports mode. It's still going. You're never going to be able to completely turn off its gyroscopes and its IMU. So that's the thing. The closest I've got to, the closest you can get to like actually increasing that bank angle and making it fly a little bit more aggressive is when you fly it in fixed wing mode. That was pretty fun. I really loved fixed wing mode, like with the goggles, and the Mavic, and just a solid connection. It was just awesome. But the problem is, I didn't like how you always had to run the cruise control. So if you let the throttle down below that certain percentage, it would just completely drop out of the fixed wing mode. So that wasn't any fun at all. I don't want to flip, I want it to fly on after centering the stick. So basically you want to put it at a certain angle. Okay, so you basically want it to fly like one of these in acro mode. You want to put it at a certain angle and let it go and be able to have more type of control over it. Yeah, it's just too hard. Even in ADDY mode, you're still going to be fighting like the barometer, so it's going to want to maintain its altitude as well. So unfortunately, if you're going to want to fly like that, then you're going to have to get into something like this down here, some kind of regular FPV type of quad, which is not a bad thing. I'm really trying to perfect some of my moves and become like a better freestyle pilot with these things. You know, I've been flying them for so long and my progression just doesn't go anywhere because I kind of go back and forth as far as I want to do between like racing, long range, and stuff like that. So I have a couple, what you would say, beater machines that I really don't care to crash a whole lot, like this B-Fight 210 and then my Martian 2 right here. So I'm kind of working on them to get them ready to go for a little bit more of practice sessions, because I don't want to tear my other stuff up. So you're still flying the Mavic, huh? What do you think about the Mavic Air? No reason for you to switch when you got that. I was looking at the Mavic Air. It all looks pretty cool, but I just won't buy... I won't buy anything that doesn't have OcuSync or some kind of something that's not Wi-Fi anymore. No matter if they say it's enhanced or not, it's still going to drop frames. It's at least they have a direct connection to the phone and everything now. Hey, what's going on, RL? Trying to figure out how big of a delay there is between all this stuff. Yeah, that's a Weller WESD 51. Had it for a long time. I actually just bought some, let me switch to the other camera angle here. Just bought some replacement tips for it off of Amazon, which are pretty nice for generic type of tips. They seem to work pretty good. What's for dinner, man? I'm hungry. I have to wait for the girl to get home from school. Clinicals, I guess you could call it, since she's in nursing school. Even though dinner is already made, man. Rotisserie chicken. Gotta love them. Have I flown the Mavic lately? No, I actually sold the Mavic. Well, no, I didn't sell the Mavic. The Mavic flew away with a Lychee accident. And I took that money and got a Spark for some stupid reason. And then did a lot of nice little... I didn't really post a whole lot about the Spark and stuff on YouTube, on the channel. I did a little bit of stuff, but mostly I just used it for myself. Just kind of going out and taking pictures and everything like that with it. Got some pretty cool pictures out of it for what it can do. Nothing like super, but it was still pretty cool. But in the end, you know, that thing's definitely weak. So I got rid of it, and now I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting for the next shoe to drop. So I was hoping for something a little bit better than the Mavic Air. So you know, I'm not gonna hate on DJI, man. If it wasn't for DJI, I wouldn't have, you know, the channel and stuff that I do. I mean, that's really where I started, was building the DJI F450s and Discovery Pro and stuff like that years ago, with the NASA M flight controller and all that kind of stuff. So anybody who starts with a Mavic or a Phantom 4 or whatever now, they just don't know what they don't know what they're missing. I mean, I sit and look at all my FPV footage and stuff like that now and go over it, trying to get everything as smooth as possible. It's, you know, with the 6 inches and stuff like that. And it's crazy because it reminds me so much of back in, say, 2014 when, you know, we had the GoPro Hero 2s on the gimbals, and it was, you know, the gimbals were like a crap Hobby King Terret 2-axis gimbal that was just impossible to work on. The firmware was bad. The software was horrible. Flight times were good, though. I mean, even back then, you know, the batteries were monstrous sizes. They were 4S, like 5,000 batteries. But, you know, you still ended up getting 15, 20 minutes out of them. So that wasn't too bad. Distance was horrible. You were pretty much like a half mile to a mile with the Tyrannus. It's amazing how far we have came. That is for sure with all this stuff, I tell you. So what do you fly? What do you have right now, RL? Do you have anything at all? Are you flying anything? You guys that fly DJI only get to see the love relationship here of working on this FPV stuff. Ooh, a big 500. Nice. So what I'm doing here, recently acquired a video editor. What, like, are you talking computer and software? Video pad. I never heard, man. Never heard of it. Sounds interesting. What I am working on is this cheapo B-Fight 210 from Banggood or GearBest or whatever. I'm replacing. I stole the camera that comes on it is horrible. I took it off. I put a Runcam Micro on there and flew it around for a while. And I stole the Runcam Micro off of it and put that onto my Ready-Made RC Recruit Wing because it has voltage monitoring for the OSD. And so now I am putting one of these little CHADDYCEERC micro turbos in its place. And the B-Fight's I got printed out like these TPU mounts here, so it just screws in there. Goes together like that. Basically trying to build something that, well, not build something, but I'm trying to resurrect that with this camera because it's been sitting like that for a while, because I want to start working a little bit more on some different freestyle moves. You know, I love doing the long range and mid-range stuff and everything like that. But I want to get a little bit better at some freestyle stuff. So what I'm doing is going to practice on these quads because I don't want to tear up my reverb or anything else like that, because the stuff ain't cheap, man. The stuff ain't free. Anybody who's in this hobby knows that. So I made a couple videos, you know, about trying to stay off the hype train and perfect what you got and everything like that. So, because I'm trying to live that lesson right now. So I think that's been a big part of like progression too. Is if you're, all Steele and all the good pilots say it. If you don't know how your quad flies long enough before you start putting new motors on it or doing this or doing that, you're just never going to get better. I mean, I have changed and built and done so many different quads, over the past 3.5 years, starting all the way with like QAV 250 and everything like that. And it's just like constantly changing, man. So it's like you never really get better. I mean, yeah, I fly better and I know how to do, I know how to tune and I know how to do this and I know how to do that. And I've learned a lot of good stuff, but my flying progression is still not that good. Not that I'm happy with. Which I'm not into. I like the long and flowy stuff. Anyway, that's kind of why I like, the mid-range and long-range type of stuff. More kind of cinematic, flowy, freestyle. I'm not into that like twitchy stuff and all that kind of thing. Yeah, when your handle is Fly Till I Die FPV, you definitely know that this isn't cheap. I don't even have to see your bench and I already know what it looks like. Or your wall, or everything else. We're all alike, every one of us. It's fun though, man. You guys listen to, you FPV guys listen to any FPV podcasts? You listen to that the FPV show? Well, those guys, Gap It and Hyph and them were talking about, oh crap, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, they were talking about, they had like, they were giving one of each other the lightning round questions that they always do at the end, which is hilarious. But they basically, the question was, you can either have all of the money back that you've ever spent. Cool. Well, this was like last week, so you should know this if you've listened to it yet. The question was, and this could go with anything, DJI, FPV, whatever. It was, you can either have all the money back that you've ever spent on this hobby, but if you want all the money back that you've ever spent on this hobby, you have to start over again from ground zero, which means you know nothing. Which means you don't know how to, well, if we think about the hardest things that are in this hobby, you don't know how to flash OpenTX onto your Tyrannus. You don't know how to get the drivers working on Betaflight, which isn't too bad right now. Even though a guy that I sold my Vortex Mini to literally sold it a week and a half later to somebody else because he just couldn't get his PC to hook up to Beta Flight. He couldn't get the Scilabs drivers to work right. So I thought that was hilarious. They all really struggled with that. So quad flying medic, you're gonna maiden a 6-inch tomorrow, huh? What kind of 6-inch you got, man? What are we looking at here? Give us the rundown. Props, frame, motors, 4S, 5S. I'm sure you got Crossfire on there. And yes, I watch a ton of YouTube too. I think there's probably only like 2 or 3 TV shows I even watch anymore. Everybody's going to maiden tomorrow. Man, I'm jealous. It's supposed to rain here a bunch. But when I got home, I went outside and started flying immediately. I gotta say, I was pretty pumped with the footage, man. I got that 6-inch dialed in finally. And it was all because I think of 2 things. The props and those 32-bit ESCs. Those 32-bit ESCs are legit. Even the cheap ones. I gotta go on here. I'm gonna open up another window here. I need to make sure that I'm subbed to you guys too. Boom, fly till I die. Just got you. Ugh. You're running Dow 6040 biblades, huh? That might be kind of tough. Got you, quad flying medic. And the RL Got you, my man. That's one good thing about doing these. At least I can finally connect back with everybody. Yeah, I would definitely those props are they're kind of they go flat really easy. So I tell you the thing that's these the 6040Cs. I mean I was able to get good video a couple times with the regular HQ 6x45 bi-blades, the carbon composite ones. I love the way they sound. I did order some of the Gem Fan bi-blades, the 6045s, which everybody on Long Range Hooligans group has been talking about. But these Cyclone 6040s, these have really made the huge difference in my 6-inch footage. They have pretty much just made it. They've pretty much just made it work. I mean I've scrutinized it down to the pixel over and over and over. I've taken it out. I just had it out today again in bright sun and everything like that. And then pick up some ND filters, man. Like these little stick-on ND filters. Just get an ND4. You don't need much. It just gets rid. It's never going to get rid of all the jitters and oscillations. That's not what it's going to do. You're always going to have that. It just is going to get rid of the jello. So you can have like jello-free video, but still have vibrations, or you can have vibrations and not have. And have jello, sorry. So those little stick-on ND4s are great. Or if you have a mount that will allow you to use something else, but like my Reverb and my Proton all have like proprietary GoPro mounts. So I can't really do anything as far as putting on another kind of, filter housing or something, because everything's kind of like that. So, which, this is a regular Brain 3D one for the Martian. Let's see, the 6040Cs. I believe, let me check real quick, but I believe Race Day Quads has them. I mean, a couple times a week, I pretty much go on the Race Day Quads and just click on new, or click on the props, and it'll always load up like the ones that they got right now. So, yeah, they've got the 6040s, and then I also got, what did I order? So I'm also trying out a couple of the 55 44s because I got that 5.5-inch Proton that I'm running, and everything is awesome with it. But these are a lot different of a profile, and I could always put these on, you can always fly smaller props, so I could always put these on a 6-inch too. So, but these 6040s, they're pretty stiff, man. There's a lot of meat there in the hub. They've got the nice kind of like, fin going out. They don't have like the tip, like these these are the 5.5-inch Gem Fans that I fly on the Proton. And, they've got the little winglet and stuff like that on them. But they're pretty sweet. Yeah, I do. And I've stopped. Because, like, before, years ago, like, I can sit over here and I'm looking at boxes of props that I'll never, ever use. Like, I've got this whole... I mean, this whole box is filled up with, you know, all these OG, you know, 5030s and old Dow 5040s and HQs. You know, it's just what I'll never fly or use all these. I'll probably take them out to the club and just get out to the flight club, the flying field that I'm a part of, and like give them to like one of the kids out there or one of the guys or something like that. So you're going to try out a split 2 on there, huh? I tried to split 1, man, and it was just such a bad experience. I was just like, I'm going to have to wait for a while before I try that whole ordeal again. Because that was a horrible camera. I mean, it was bad. This is a pain in the butt to get plugged in. There we go. Yeah, I've got like 2 boxes of those. And I've sold a lot more than that. I mean, God, I think I sold a couple months ago. I hooked this kid up from Canada. He bought some stuff off of me from RC Groups, and he seemed like a nice kid, so I hooked him up. But it was funny because like the more I said, "Hey, I'll hook you up with this," the more he kept like asking for free. So it was kind of funny how like greedy he got out of the whole thing. So, but anyway, I think I sold him like 14 bags of butter cutters for like $20. I mean, that's just sickening. Because I mean, how much were those things a bag? $4, $5 a bag. So it might have even been cheaper than that. I see a lot of people are doing the split 2 in the Ready-Made RC Nano Goblin, which I live like an hour from Ready-Made RC. I used to buy pretty much everything there. I don't buy a whole lot from them anymore, just because they don't really have what I want, like what I need. They don't have like crossfires, they don't have TBS stuff. So I have this camera wired up, and I don't have my goggles to check it. Wires are a little long. That's alright. I'm going to run and get my goggles real quick. Yeah, I got the Recruit at FPV Fest this year. I'll show it to you here in a second. Oh. Take the lens cap off, Chad. That would help. Yeah, I tell you, if you were going to buy a Wingman, I wouldn't buy anything else except for the Recruit. The Recruit's the real deal. It's as easy as advertised. Bent that pin. There's a video on my channel showing just how easy it is to like launch that thing. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen like every video possible on how to launch it, but you seriously can just sit there from your chair and just throw it. And with the stabilizer, it just takes right off. I mean, it's just gone. No problem at all. This connector is being difficult. This is a lesson to be learned here. It's what happens when you buy stuff. These different type of quads and stuff like that that don't use the same kind of connectors and everything else. There we go. Now there's video. Cool. Yeah, I've changed it a lot. Let me switch off of the chat here so I can show you. It's pretty dusty, but let's see, that's it right there. So I've got the micro like hot glued like crazy in there. And that's the thing about wings, man, is like you can break them and do everything else and just hot glue them back together. You know, the old camera I glued in because I was all excited at FPV Fest, didn't think about it. I had to rip it out. So basically I ended up putting a piece of balsa there, but it doesn't matter. These things just take it. And then I've got Crossfire and 2.4 video hooked up. So I've got the Immersion RC for 2.4 there, and I stole my Crossfire receiver out of it, but I still have the little, let's see, where's it at? Right here is the little PWM module that comes with the Crossfire. So all I got to do is just plug in a Crossfire micro and then set it up to the channels, and then everything is good. And I fly it with my ground station, and I like flying at line of sight too, just like a regular wing, which is why I put the tape on it and stuff like that. So that way, you know, pretty much at the field we're always flying in that circular right to left pattern. So put the tape on there and boom, then you can fly it line of sight and have a good time. It's so easy to fly and it's so relaxing. It's like one of those that you just want to fly like in the evening. And usually during the springtime, like my one, our club president, he lives pretty close, and I only live like a mile and a half from the flight field. You know, you see where I kind of live. Like, it looks like I live like super out in the country, which we kind of live in the country without being in the country. Because, like, you know, 5 minutes down the road, it's like retail city or whatever. So it just kind of turns into farm field and stuff, which is pretty sweet. So there's nothing like being able to step out your front door and being able to fly like I do. It's pretty awesome. So let's see here. How am I going to get... I'm just going to go like that with these wires up like that. Then come in like this. By the way, if you're looking for some if you're looking for some beater cameras, these CHADDYCEERC cameras are good for like beater cameras if you can catch them for like $20. But I don't think they're any good for regular FPV cameras, man. When I go from like these to my Eagle 2s, it's just like night and day difference. And I've got one of these actually in my Proton 5-inch because Mike's designed that frame, you know, to be as light and stuff as possible. And I ended up ordering a Predator micro, so I'm hoping that arrives shortly. So you got into the hobby in August in 2016. You know, that pretty much makes you a veteran at about this time, though. You listen to some of these guys on these podcasts and stuff like that, like some of these new pilots and stuff, like, oh gosh, like Captain Vandover, the multi GP champion. I mean, he's only been flying for, I think, a year. Yeah, it's constant change, constant. But you just got to listen to the right people and just fly what works, man, and just stick with it. Like, that's why you probably saw that video I made about, like, Steele and his ethics company that him and those guys are starting and stuff, and everybody's giving him crap about his new motors and stuff. I mean, these were from the first batch, these Steele motors. I got lucky. I never had any C-clip issues or nothing like that. This one here, you can see that there's a lot of rubbing, like he was talking about, like the paint getting rubbed off and everything like that. But, you know, these motors, a year old, are 2306 and 2345 kV. And it's so funny because that was last year, and it's like, what's everybody buying now? Well, like, one of the most popular motors you can get right now is the E-Falls. What are they? They're 2407s. My T-Motor F80s are 23. I think are the F80s 2307 or 2306. I think they're 2307. So, yeah, that's what. I don't think I've ever said it on my channel or nothing like that, but my undergrad is in electronic engineering. Like, my bachelor's I got at DeVry back when it was like, I don't know, I guess a real school before it got ratted out for all these kids that were promised jobs or whatever. And, you know, then I've got my MBA and I've got my master's, and I got my master's in health administration too. But I am a healthcare technology manager, so I work on medical equipment, which is pretty cool. It's never a dull day. Yeah, JC was the best, man. You don't know how many times I wish that he was around right now to kind of, you know, he would have been bigger than everybody right now. That's the sad thing, you know. Is like, you know, I like watching all the other guys. Like, I like watching Bardwell. I really don't like. I wouldn't say I don't like. I mean, I don't. I'm not saying I don't like him as a person, but I don't really get a lot out of the Stu's guy's content, the UAV ventures. I like his buddy Grumpy Trev or whatever, but I really don't. I really don't get a lot out of his content. It's pretty much like he just throws it on there. The stuff that he gets for free, talks about it, and then goes and flies it. Like, I've never really seen him dive deep into stuff, but whatever, you know. So JC was just like good at doing like all that. Like, he was a combination of like all of the guys that we like to watch. Probably the only thing he really didn't touch a lot on was like regulations and stuff like that. You know, he kind of left that stuff up to Bruce Simpson and RC Model Reviews and everything like that. You know, so JC kind of knew his place. You know. That kid was smart though. God, he was smart. I mean, he learned stuff that I learned in college, and I mean, he'll never even use any of that stuff. I never have at all. I mean, I know, you know, this is basically I mean, I use this at home on my quads. I don't use these at work very often, except for whenever I probably have to work like on, I think the last time I used a voltmeter at work was when I was working on like a cardiac stress machine. You know, one of the ones that have like the treadmills on them and stuff like that. So this is basically, that's like the one of the only times I can remember using a voltmeter at work. Now I do use an oscilloscope at work quite often in the electrophysiology lab to test the outputs on different signal generators and stuff, because the little medical lesson here, EP, like, you know, you got two kind of heart doctors. You got electricians and you got plumbers. So the EP guys stimulate areas of the heart. They burn different parts of the heart. They freeze different portions of the heart in order to reroute like the electricity. So like I use the oscilloscope to test the actual pulses that they're sending into the different chambers of the heart when they're doing all that stuff, you know, to make sure that it's doing the right right duty cycles and the right amplitude and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to check this camera out just in case I messed it up during install. Yeah, I've watched a couple of his videos lately. I think one of them was like how to get, yeah, there we go, that's working. One of them was how to get RSSI out of on your Tyrannus, because I'm so used to doing it with the Crossfire now. I had to go back in and learn how to redo it with the Tyrannus. Well, there we go. New little camera on there. Got the 3D printed shark fin there for turtle mode, so, you know, it's got enough space there to help it pop back over either way. Pretty much all these racing quads are having these on them now. I printed mine out at the PLA, the Saint Smart PLA. Works pretty good. Yeah, I've got, well, the problem is I hope you build yourself a lot of nice and organized storage and everything. I've never quite been able to figure out how to organize my room. So, because the problem is that I've got one bench over here behind me, behind the curtains in my video now, that have all my 3D printers and stuff on it, and that's like where I do all my charging and everything like that. But then, you know, I still build models, too. So I've got like my paint booth and everything like that over there. So, you know, and my airbrushes and stuff. And then I've got like my models kind of like displayed over here. So it's just kind of a mess. Honestly, I don't know what to do with a lot of this stuff sometimes. Yeah, I've been working, when it gets bad out and stuff, you can see I've been working on this 1/44 scale Bandai Millennium Falcon. The detail on it is just freaking amazing. Looks gray in the video, but it's black. Basically like an undercoat. Have it all like sprayed black, so that way when you come over it with the different colors and stuff, it will, you know, kind of, they call it like pre-shading. So basically all this will kind of show through. So just been working on stuff like that when I get tired of quads. Yeah, it's impossible to keep it clean. Well, I'm trying to like keep, I've got like parts of everything like apart because I took Crossfire out of this Martian here. And tomorrow, Amazon, I picked up, I'm going back with an old XSR because, I mean, I just can't afford to put like crossfires and everything. You know, I broke one of the UFLs off of this one, and I tried soldering it. I don't know if that's going to help or not. Tried soldering it back on, and I think it works. I need to put it in something and try, but I just don't feel like messing with it. I've been building and fiddling and tuning and stuff so much that I'm like super happy now that I've got like every rig I have is producing pretty good video, so I really just want to fly. And then, of course, when I just really want to rip and fly now, I've got the Baby Hawk R, which this thing is a riot, man. It's so awesome. It's great. Only thing is the batteries don't last very long. And I've got these little Tattoo 650s. I just got these from Buddy RC today. So I have been flying these J&B Power 550s, but you see they got the JST connector on there and they're 550s, and they weigh the same as the Tattoo 650s. So I'm expecting I should give me a little bit better stuff. Cluttered mind, empty desk, yeah. Yeah, plus I set everything up over here, like on this bench, because I've got, you know, like a lot of this is where I set with the curtains that are behind me. I mean, dare I swing the camera around a little bit more? Yeah, so you know that back there, and then you can see my chair back there where the cat just tears things up like crazy. So, I mean, our basement is unfinished. Like, you know, we bought an older house here, and we did all the stuff, you know, upstairs and everything. But, you know, I'll just pan you around a little bit. You can see another bomb. There's my model stands. And there's my paintbrush, my paint booth, and there's where I build models. And then, well, back there's the 3D printers. There's one sitting there. There's a box of Martians. I mean, I've just got stuff everywhere, man. It's almost embarrassing. So I had to make another spot, basically. How awesome is that? It's nice. You're all about. Are you living? You must be living in an apartment right now, waiting on that dream house to get done. You're all ready to rock and roll, huh? Luckily, the rest of the house doesn't look like this. Everything else is, except for the dining room table right now, because I've got like a bunch of my batteries up there. But the lady works every weekend while she's in school, so I've got plenty of time to myself to do all this stuff, which is pretty cool. You do end up missing her and stuff like that, but it's nice to be able to unplug and unwind after that daily grind, man. That Monday through Friday. Oof. I feel you, RL. What lipos? Well, really, for five, let's see. I mean, this is an old Bonka, which I don't, really use these anymore. They're all wore out. They probably just need thrown out. But right now, I'm using 4S's. I'm using the Pulse 1350s. And I just ordered 3 because you tell how stupid you are in this hobby. Like, I used to order like 10 batteries. It'd be great to have the money to spend on 10 batteries, but when you're buying 10 batteries maybe twice a year because, you eat them up so bad and they get tired, and you know how it is. You can tell that they get tired because you just use them so much. So I've got like 5 4S pulses. I ordered 3 4S 1500 China Hobby lines. That should be here. And then 5S, I'm running the 1300 China Hobby lines and the 1600 Who Cares that I got from Surge at Pyroflip. But if I were to do over again, I probably wouldn't buy the Who Cares. I'd probably just go straight to the China Hobby line ones. Last year I owned a bunch of the China Hobby line 1300 4S's, but I ruined a couple of them. Yeah, I thought I would too, but my 1300, which when I put a post on there, and I've heard this before, and Kidder said something about it the other day when I was asking about, because I want some good high performance 4S batteries for my reverb, because I want to try to fly a true freestyle without going 5S and everything. I want to try to keep it 4S, so I wanted some good ones. And he said, and I've heard this before, that the 1300 China Hobby lines are actually 1500s, and the 1500s are actually 1800s. And there's a lot of truth to that, because my 1300, I get nearly the same flight time out of my 1300 5S China Hobby lines that I do the 1600 5S Who Cares. So but in the Recruit, I've got just the cheap ready-made RC 3S 2200s. I did run some tattoos. I actually still have 2 tattoos from a year or 2 ago that I still fly, that still have good resistance and work really good. Yeah, and you can't beat the price, man. And if they're in Race Day Quads is selling them now too. So I was gonna place it. They're $1 more. I was gonna get some the other day off of China Hobby Line's website. They're $19.99 a piece for the 1500 4S, 100C or whatever. but I ended up just getting them for $21.99, because I'm like, well, why pay for shipping twice when I can just get them from Race Day Quads, because I ordered those and I got that Micro Predator for my Proton, and I was going to order a couple more of the Bardwell flight controllers, but they were out of them there, so I ended up getting them from Ready Made. Actually had them, because I think Ready Made must be in cahoots with Race Day Quads or something now, because they don't have like any TBS, they don't carry any TBS stuff, because they're pretty strict on the whole FCC thing and all that stuff. I think batteries are the most overhyped thing in this hobby. I mean, why anybody would pay $40 for a Thunder Power 1500 or a Rebel? I mean, I'm sure they're great batteries, but I cannot see those. That they're not twice as good as those China hobby lines. They're maybe 25 or 30 grams lighter, maybe, but the China hobby lines are also graphenes as well. They don't claim it on the label or nothing like that, but they are. They were the exact same weight, color underneath. The cells look the same and everything compared to my Turnigy graphenes when they first came out. Yeah, those battery prices are just stupid. I don't understand that. But people pay it. I don't get it. It's the one thing I definitely don't agree on with Mr. Steele or whatever. I don't know. Should I put the camera? I feel stupid not like talking to the camera now that I'm not messing around with anything. So, I don't know. Yeah, pick a couple of those up. You'll be pretty happy with them. I mean, you can't not be for the price. I mean, that's the thing. They're just super cheap, and they work. They work great. I've got my... Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's the 5S 1300s right there. The wrappers that they used to put on them were kind of cheap. I think they've changed the wrappers, because these, it still seems a little brittle, but they're not as brittle as they used to be. And I've been flying these out in the cold and everything, and they haven't cracked. But if you look up the weight on one of these, and then go look up the weight on the comparable Turnigy and Hobby King, they're all still the same. I know one thing, if you buy a Baby Hawk, don't buy these little cigarette or gum pack batteries. These things are a joke. Oh, I can't see my chat now. Yeah, we've all done that. I've killed two 3S batteries on my Crossfire module, leaving it plugged in. Yeah, front entry door. Yeah, I did that too a couple years ago. Let's see here. Well, dudes, I think I'm going to jump off of here, man, and go get dinner ready. She should be home here in a little bit. I think she's done at like 7:30. So I'm going to go and get dinner ready and all that kind of stuff. And, well, it's supposed to be raining in the morning, so I'm probably just going to do another live stream again. I don't know. My whole thing this year is to just try to be a little bit more interactive and everything. You know, I've been a victim to the whole YouTube thing. I used to just count on like getting enough money on YouTube to pay for like my Adobe Premiere and stuff like that, which that's pretty much like I used to maybe clear, I don't know, 65 or 70 bucks a month, and now like I put a video up and, well, it's not DJI, so like most of my fans are all DJI or subscribers, so that has taken everything down. And then I put a video up and every video of mine gets flagged for some reason, and you see them like, I try to be, I don't know, there's no cursing or nothing like that at all, so they'll go up for a couple hours and then I won't be paying attention and they'll get demonetized, and then you got to request a review, and then they re-review it within like a day or something like that. So just want to keep it, I don't know, I guess since I'm not going to be quitting my day job anytime soon, I have no plans of doing anything like that. I'm just going to do what I want to do. So do live streams and try to like be more interactive and just try to talk and help some people out and have people help me out, and put up some good videos and keep doing some tutorials. I don't plan on having a lot of new stuff roll through here constantly like I was, trying to be a lot more budget conscious and just become better and more proficient at like what I have, because I think I'm pretty solid on everything that I have right now, and there's just nothing out there that I don't think will, nothing's going to beat Crossfire. Nothing's going to beat that Bardwell flight controller for a while. I really like that thing. The Unifies, nothing's going to be better than the Unifies. The cameras, I'm happy with these Eagle 2s. And then the little Predator that's coming. Motors, I'm all about the MBs. So, yeah, I am on the bad list. I don't know why, RL. I really don't. I think it was because of that CL. You know what happened? It all started back when I put that video up of the CL Racing roll, and I'm not going to say the other word because this one will end up getting demonetized too. The little 5-minute video I did the other night where I went on and was telling people not to upgrade their iOS because of the Go 4 app got demonetized, and I literally said like probably 60 words in that video. But when I put that video up, I don't know if it was because it had the word blank roll in it, or if it was because I think I hate to say it, but I think the one Armatin guy like reported me to YouTube, because it's just so coincidental. I had never had anything happen until that video. He put up like this comment where he said all kinds of bad stuff and nasty stuff to me. Then he took it down, and every video since then has got flagged. So, I'll never buy anything from them again at all. It wasn't the owner either. It was some guy that said that he was a rep or something for them. So, and I had just got like the Chameleon 6-inch and was all excited about it and everything like that, and then I got those CL Racing F4S boards, and everybody has had problems with them. I think I was just one of the first people to blast the internets about them, and yeah, the rest is history. The rest is demonetization. So, whatever. It's no big deal. And I put up stupid stuff. I put up like things like the affiliate links and stuff like that, just because it's like, well, why not? Like everybody else does. I'm in Ohio, man. I'm like smack dab in the middle of Columbus and Cleveland, a little bit further south. I'm like right outside of Mansfield, Ohio. So, I'd say pretty much everybody on here is East Coast. I don't know if anybody's out west on here. But yeah, they do favor the big channels now. So it's totally crazy. And that's like one of the things that they thought that like when they changed the whole monetization policy that it was gonna basically increase everybody else's stuff, but it's like I have like if you look at like my analytics, I have more views this month, and all the stuff that they're supposed to watch. I have more views, and my watch time is higher than last month's. Yet my revenue is like cut in like a third. So Florida, Cal, you're man. So I've got pretty much the worst weather then out of everybody. That's great. It's good to know. So then you guys are going to throw up your maidens on YouTube tomorrow. So I've got something to watch whenever it's raining. So get that stuff edited and put that stuff up there. And I know if you guys are flying 6 inches that you're definitely on the hooligans group too. So post that stuff up there too. Birmingham, Alabama. Too humid down there. It's humid in Florida too. I got a buddy that from high school that lives down there. He's like, it's great here like 4 months out of the year, but the rest of it, it's rough. Yeah, the last 2 weeks of December and the first 2 weeks of January were brutal here. It was like 10 degrees, 15 degrees. I'm out there trying to fly, trying to tune a 6 inch quad when it's 15 degrees out. Yeah, that's pretty much impossible. These plastic propellers and carbon fiber do not like the cold. They just harden up and resonate. It was stupid. What a waste of time. But, I learned a lot like messing around with it, so whatever. That's cool. Real quick, how does the video look like as far as if I did like and the thing is not having like any zoom. That's the problem. This isn't an HD webcam either. And it says I'm shooting at 30 frames a second though, but I'm not sure what it's coming across at YouTube. So I want to like try to do some like live stuff like yeah, see it says it's only coming across at 360p, and I think that's because I'm on my 2 point this laptop only has 2.4, it doesn't have 5.8 built into it, so my 2.4 isn't very strong down in the basement. My 5.8's super powerful everywhere, but my 2.4 is not at all. Oh, that stinks. If it isn't one thing, it's another, huh? Getting that house and stuff going on. Good look at that bump on my nose. on my mole. Yeah, I might have to bring the camera around differently. I'll have to play with the different stuff. Like, I probably need to bring it closer, obviously. That's usually a good thing. Yeah, it's all a process. I noticed the focus is pretty bad too. I used to have the HD version of this webcam, but I don't know where the hell it's at. Surprise, surprise. It's probably somewhere in this bomb that went off in here. But yeah, see, and I need like lighting from so the focus is really bad. And then I need like lighting from the back. All my lighting is like in the front here. So it's like if I want to put something up to the camera, then it's not going to be lit up very well. I was thinking about doing the overhead shot down onto the table, but then I want to be able to like talk to people too and answer questions and everything. I don't know. Maybe I'll go check out the webcams tomorrow and pick up that one Logitech that I used to have, the 920 or whatever. This is the C270. It's the real cheap one. I just got it to hook up to my Raspberry Pi, so that way I could watch my 3D printer and control it and stuff when I'm away, like at work, and I'm running like a long print and stuff. So I never thought I would need like a webcam again. And I did check out, I actually could use my iPhone to live stream with, and then so I can live stream YouTube. I can live stream YouTube with the iPhone, and then I can actually use the computer and pull it up on the computer and interact and do everything with the chat. So I tested that out as well. So I've got like a mount and everything like up here with my Manfrotto, one of my Manfrottos or whatever that's pointing down. So, but then you got to put it in airplane mode and people call and stuff and it stops your video, so it's just a pain in the neck. I'd rather just have a webcam running and just make it a lot easier that way. But hey, I think I got up to a total of 7 viewers. So, and you guys are like the all-stars for like staying with me the whole time. Make me feel like so important that I'm super engaging. It's great. Let's see here. Oh. All right. So I'm getting out of here then. Thanks for sticking around, guys. And I'm going to do another one tomorrow morning, working on some more stuff. So, and if you guys get tired of flying in that sunny weather in Maiden, check me out. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for stopping by.